All right, we're live. Boy, that kicks over fast. How are things going?
Good, man. I may, yeah, things are good. What about you?
Pretty good.
Nice.
It looks like you have a few fewer than 2,000 books behind you.
Yeah, just a little bit. This is my new office. I'm just importing books from my other, from my home into this office one step at a time.
I
So
gotcha.
I don't want to bring boxes full of books every day. So I'm like,
Right.
or I don't want to like bring boxes full of books. So every day I come to work, I just bring a bag of books. So over time, this will get bigger and bigger and bigger.
It makes sense. So you have like a permanent space at WeWork then?
This is not WeWork. This is another building. I just don't
Okay.
like. Yeah, WeWork. I mean, I like it for different reasons, but I don't like the cubby-like offices. The offices are so tiny,
Yeah.
and then you'd really have to get like a 4 or 6 person office to feel like you have enough space there. So
Yeah. Yeah, I ran into that a little bit. I rented at a co-working space in Provo, and it was in an older building, and I rented some desk space. And the problem I had was that I had a desk. I didn't actually have an office. And like I met great people there, but they would walk by all the time and hey, blah blah blah, and I'd get sidetracked by all the conversations. And
disturbing.
so I needed to be able to control that. Like it was one of the perks of being there was meeting all those folks, but I needed to be able to control the traffic, right? And just, lock down
Yeah,
and put my head down and get to work, and I never could get that there. So
exactly. So
I've been tempted to find an office here because there's a place here in town that rents out like office space for a few $100s a month, but
it's
it's an
worth it.
expense I don't need right now.
Yeah, maybe at a later time.
The other thing is that I have to be here for at least part of the day for my 5-year-old.
Hmm.
When she's not at preschool and when my older kids aren't here. So next year when she goes to kindergarten, that's when I'm looking at making that switch, because it'd be really nice to be able to again lock down and not have the kids coming in, things like that too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just have that clean break from work and home. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But they do executive offices. My state legislator guy, he has his office over there, right? Because he lives here. I know a few other businesses that are based out of that building. YNAB, you need a budget. They used to be based out of that building,
Hmm.
and it's just a little building just downtown Lehigh. So yeah,
Yeah, whenever it's time, you should make the switch to an office. It makes life much more,
yeah,
uh, it makes you much more productive. That's what I've
yeah,
learned compared to being at home. It's not
yep,
the same level of productivity. It's just like literally, it is a block down, not a block down, it's just next building from my
hmm,
building. So it's not even
right,
that far. It's just separation of work and home that makes it so
yep,
worth it. Just
yep,
being separate from it makes my thinking clear. Like okay,
yep,
work time, okay, home time.
yeah, yeah. And it's funny because like my full time job, they're talking like eventually they want us all to go back to the office, but back to the office is again in a big open office setup, and I'm just like, how do you expect to get us to get crap done? I've worked in those kinds of settings before, and it's just nonstop distractions.
Yeah, I am
So
not a fan of those things. I think
yeah,
people should be given their privacy, and then when they want, they can come interact. But just
mm-hmm.
forcing them to interact for all the time and be like, not everyone is wants that. Some people may want that, but not everyone wants to be in that situation. I don't think that is the way to do great work. It's the way
Mm-hmm.
to do ordinary work. But to do great work, you really need that focus, the deep work
Yep,
time. So
makes sense.
how's the mastermind coming along now?
So
Not mastermind. We're gonna quit calling it mastermind.
it's an
No more
it's the
mastermind.
accelerator.
It's accelerator. I actually changed.
or the
So
coaching program.
after some thinking, I changed a little bit of what I have. But anyways, I want to hear what's going on first, then I'll talk about what I'm doing.
Right. So we had our first call yesterday. I had one client on the call. The other client he's like, I'm going to sign up. I'm just literally waiting for my business credit card to show up so I can pay you.
The Hong Kong guy?
Yeah.
So he hasn't paid yet.
Not yet. So I didn't invite him to the calendar invite.
Yeah,
But we're still talking. He's also interested in being a panelist on Elixir Mix. And so the strategy that we've kind of worked out for him is that he'll be on Elixir Mix, and then we're going to help him refine the kind of client he wants, and he's going to start a show about whatever business they're in, right? So that he can speak directly to them and drive his freelance work that way.
Interesting. What about the other people on the email that you sent to?
So I talked to another one of them yesterday. He proved your point in some very poignant ways. He's interested, but he's very locked in on the structure of the thing and the cost of the thing, because that's what I sent him. And
okay, what was the discussion like?
So I kept trying to get him to, heaven and hell, and he kept coming back with the structure of the thing.
What do you mean?
So like I'd start talking to him about, okay, so he's starting a new job next week, and so I start talking to him about, okay, where that's going to get him, and I start asking him about what he's concerned about there, and that kind of a thing, and why he left his last job, and just trying to create that or understanding, right, of where he's at and why that isn't what he wanted. And then the next job, it's a step up, but why that may not even be what he wants. And then start talking to him, and then I wanted to talk to him a little bit more about what he wanted just down the line. And he kept just coming back. He kind of quickly answer the question and then throw in a question about the structure or the things like that. Okay, well, the cost is kind of a high cost, and I'm concerned about these things, and and so I try and talk him back around to what he wanted and where he was. And
how much is he making in his job, in the new job?
I don't know. I didn't ask him.
You need to know that.
I do need to know
every
that.
single time. Every single time you need to know. So here's like the broad framework of how to approach this conversation, the sales conversation. You're going to establish rapport, and then you're going to ask them, so why are you interested in this program?
Right.
What got you interested in this program? Tell me more about it. They're going to tell you a little bit, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, all right, let me ask you a few questions, see if you are good fits going forward. Because what by presenting the price, you've already taken out the possibility of them not being a good fit, right? You've already taken out the possibility of a qualification, right? But anyways, you still have to do the qualification. It'll be like, let me ask you a few questions, see if this is going to be a good fit for you and for me as well. So, and then you ask the questions and you say, okay, what's your current situation like, right? What is your current, you're like, oh, I have a new job. Okay. How much are you making in that job?
Yeah.
How much of a raise was it compared to last job? Interesting. And so that sounds good. Why do you want to do this?
Yep.
Right. That sounds like, you're making 120K, man. What's wrong with that? I think that's a good life. Why bother? Right. You have to let them tell you why 120K or 150K or 200K or 250K is not good enough for them. They have to come to that realization that that's not what they want to do. You just have to ask them.
Yeah, I understand that. And I was asking some of those questions, but I always had it turned back around on me with, okay, so, what do the calls look like? And yeah, it was just hard to...
when you have that, when you have that, the way to approach those situations is to say, I will answer all those questions after I'm done with the few questions that I have.
Right.
You have to control the frame of the conversation.
Right.
You lost the frame of the
I
conversation.
did.
And when you lose frame of the conversation, the client runs the conversation and
Right.
they themselves will sell themselves out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem, right? So you
Yeah.
cannot lose frame of the conversation. You have to own it. And when the
Yep.
person says, well, let me ask you this, let me ask that, you said, I will let you ask questions, but first I need to know if this is the right thing that I can offer to you and you can offer. Like,
Right.
let me first understand where you are before I can answer those questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
So keep those questions in your back pocket. I'll come back to them.
Right.
I will come back to them. So every time you ask a question, you're like, keep those questions in your pocket or keep those questions. I'll come back to you. First, I want to understand your situation before we get into the
Right.
mechanics of it.
Yep.
Right. And
Yeah,
if
that
he
makes
just continues
sense.
to be like, what about this? What about that? And this and that, you're like, please, like, no, don't even say please. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just say, like, I get it. I will get back to you.
Yeah.
I get it. Let's talk about it at a later time.
Right.
This is the way the call goes. I'm going to ask you
Mm-hmm.
a few questions. I want to know where you're at, and then I will get to your questions. And if
Right.
the person just refuses to participate in that, you can just be like, all right, man, I don't think this is going to be a good fit for you, anyways.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
literally have to say that.
Yep.
At some point, you literally have to say that. You just say like, yeah, man, I'm not getting the feeling that this might be a good fit for you
Yeah.
because it's hard for us to even get on the like it's hard for me to even communicate with you right now because you're not doing what I'm telling you to do. How do I
Yeah.
expect you to do it when
Yep.
you're part of the program,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So so at some point you have to bring that out, but not too aggressively, not too early on.
Right.
Just take them back. You're like, hang on, I will bring it. I will answer your questions first. Answer first. Let's walk through.
Mm-hmm.
Let me first understand where you're coming from, and then I will
Right.
have a better perspective to answer your questions with.
Yep.
Right.
No, that makes sense.
So
Right. Because it allows
yeah,
me to frame the offer too. So
yeah. So first you have to keep asking questions about, okay, so what's wrong with that? Why does it
yep.
matter? And why do you care? Like, why is 120K not good enough?
Right.
And then he says, well, I don't like making this money. I want to do this, that. See, now you have
Right.
some notes. You're gonna take notes as he's talking about these things, right? So you
Yep.
can keep them in your like in your memory and in your system so you know what he wants. And then he's gonna
Yep.
be like, then you're like, okay, so is money the only reason why you want to do this? Is there something else you
Yeah.
want to do this for? He's like, oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, I want it for this. I want to have a better, like, I want to do better coding job. And
Right.
then you're like, okay, well, what do you mean? Why better? Well, why do you want to be in a better company? Blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to be like, well, because of this. You're like, well,
Yeah.
explain
That
it to
that
me. I'm
part
not
I've
clear on the.
that part of it I've definitely, like the call I did before that with the guy in Hong Kong. I mean, that was mostly how it went. Was, yeah, okay. So what on from your freelance? What are the struggles? What are you? Yeah, why is it not good enough? What you're getting now? And yeah, so then he outlined, where things weren't working out for him, what he was
Hmm.
getting that he didn't want, and what he wasn't getting that he did want. And yeah, then I could just be like, okay, well, when I was freelance, I was able to fill in a lot of these gaps, and I use some of the strategies that I can teach you to do that, right? So let me show you how that worked as part of this
Uh,
accelerator, and that made a ton of sense. I mean, it was a longer conversation than that, but that was effectively how it went.
right. So it's a little, there's one more, like there's quite a few steps. I'm gonna teach that masterclass in my program. So I've actually changed my programs. So there are two programs now. But anyways, first I want to talk about closing high ticket sales. So
Mm-hmm.
once you figure out the pain, you need to get the pain out of them. You need for
Right.
them to tell you that they're hurting. You don't want you to tell them that they're hurting.
Right.
You want them to tell you that they're hurting. And it's one of the most important crucial elements of it. It has to be a self-inflicted pain.
Right.
They have to feel the pain themselves. You
Right.
cannot make them, you should not be forcing pain on them. If you try to do
No.
that, they will hate you.
Well,
You
they'll
have
feel
to
like
let
I'm
them,
manipulating them.
and they will feel like they will feel like you're being a little bitch for doing that to them. So they're just gonna hate you. Yeah, they're gonna
Yep.
not. Yeah, they might feel manipulated, but more importantly, they're just gonna hate you for trying to make them feel bad.
Right.
Right? You can sell by making people feel bad, but that's not the point of selling. The point of selling
No.
is for them to realize their own truth, to know they have to sit in their own truth of pain.
Mm-hmm.
Only when they sit in their own truth of pain can they step out of it,
Yep.
right? Will they be ready to make a modification? So once we know the pain, then you say, okay, so what's the perfect, like, what are you trying to
Yep.
accomplish?
Yep.
What do you want? And as you said, sometimes they're just not ready. They're not clear. What is it that I want? That they won't give you the perfect answer for it. So the way to do that is to say, so why do you want that? Why do you want
Right.
to make an additional 100K? How is that going to help you? So why not? Why that? Why? You keep asking the
Mm-hmm.
why till they come to a very deep understanding of why that money is important to them, or
Right.
why that career growth is important to them, or why being a badass, uh, a very well-known developer is
Developer.
important to
Yeah.
them, or why being a why being able to command whatever price they want in the freelance market is important to them. They
Mm-hmm.
have to come to that, like they have to be able to express that to you, how amazing that would be. And you can help them build, see, as the person who's leading them, you can help them see a bigger future. You can help them see, you can,
Right.
you don't, like, self-inflicted pain is self-inflicted, but
Mm-hmm.
the future positive outcome is more of what you can
Right.
help them build. You can
Mm-hmm.
help them see. You help them see that, and then you say, so how come you haven't accomplished this?
Right.
This is really important, Chuck. This is the most important piece
Yes.
of the whole puzzle,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have to get them to tell you that I can't do it myself in no uncertain
Oh
ways.
yeah.
So this is
No,
the
that
this
makes
is
total sense.
no this is a very important stage. This is like a waypoint. If they do not if they do not understand that they cannot do it themselves,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot close them,
Right.
right? If they believe that they can do it themselves, they will not buy your program. So
Right.
you must, this is a waypoint. At this point, after you've shown them the hell, you've shown them the heaven, now you're going to say, so how come you haven't achieved it? You're a smart
Right.
guy. You know yourself pretty well. How come this hasn't happened yet?
Mm-hmm.
Right? At this point, they have to either say, okay, I don't have a system. I don't have a process. I think you have a system. You have a
Mm-hmm.
process. So I would like to use that. So that's
Right.
one. The next is you can get them to say, well, I don't really know what to do
Right.
at all. Like I'm totally clueless about this whole thing. I need someone else to guide me on this journey. So either they don't have
Uh-huh.
a system or process, or they need a mentor or a guide or a coach,
Right.
right? Or they say, I just don't have the time. I want to shortcut this whole process, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it is possible people can figure this out for 5 years if they try to do it themselves. You're going to get that result in 6 months.
Right. Yep.
Is there time of 5 months, 5 years worth the 6 months of like investment
Yep.
they make with you, right?
Yep.
So that's how you want to frame that. Until they agree that they can't do it themselves, you don't have a sale.
No, that makes complete sense. Because if they're not going to admit that they need me or need my help,
Mm-hmm.
then why would they buy it from me?
Mm-hmm. And
I
that is
just
a
realized
very
my video
important
is real
waypoint.
dark.
That's a very important waypoint because
Yeah.
there are people who will basically not accept it. You're like, hey, how come
Yeah.
you can't, like, why can't there was one guy he has a YouTube channel. Like
Hmm.
I was on a call with him. He has a YouTube channel with like 50,000 subscribers, and he's making $700 a month from his business. And I'm like, dude, like I'm looking at his whole thing, and I'm like, man, I could literally 10x, 100x this what you're making here. It's not that hard from my point of view, right? And
Yep.
and the guy's like, well, I I'm like, so I'd show him like what is possible. You could build such a big business. You could be making, instead of making $700 a month, you could make $250,000 a year. What the fuck, man, right? Like I'm showing him the vision of what's possible and all of that
Right.
stuff. And then I'm like, you're a smart guy, man. You have a PhD. How come you haven't figured it out yet? Or how come you're a smart guy? How come you haven't, you know, how come you're not making a ton of money on
Right.
this, right? He's like, well, if I really wanted to, I could probably do it. I'm like, okay, tell me, like,
Yeah, but
so,
still, if
so
you
you're,
really wanted to, then why not? Why aren't you
so
doing it?
yeah, so you're telling me you don't really want to do it? He's like, no, I want to do it, but it's just that, like, if I really want to do it, I'd figure it out, right? So the guy is
Yeah.
stuck in his own ego.
Uh-huh.
He's like, I could figure it out. I could figure it
Right.
out. He's trying to act as if like I don't care about this right now. That's why I'm not making enough money at this whole game, right? He's like,
Yep.
I'm not like that crazy about making so much. Like, I just like I have a YouTube channel and I'm happy with it and blah blah blah. But
Yeah,
like
well,
the more I kept pushing him, like, so how come you haven't figured it out yet? So how come? Well, you're only making $700 a month, and you're putting in all this hard work. If you're putting in all those hours and you could make 10 times more the money or 100 times more the money, how come you haven't done it
yeah.
yet, right? And he's like, well, because I when I want to, I will figure it out. And I'm like, well, when will you decide that you want to do it? He's like, I actually want to do it. So I'm like, how come you haven't figured it out? He's like, well, because I don't really know what to do. So
Yep.
that's when that was clear to him. Like, that's when he admitted that he didn't know how to make money.
Right.
Until then, he was just like deluding himself, thinking that somehow he will make the money because he has a big channel.
Well, it's funny too because people have different reasons, and sometimes they don't even know the reasons, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
one thing that held me up for a long time, and I mean, even recently, I've exhibited some of the
Mm-hmm.
versions of this kind of brain damage is just, well, if you're telling me what to do and I do it, right,
Mm-hmm.
then anyway, what my deal was is I was afraid that if I failed, it meant something about me, blah, 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 right? And so if I made all the excuses, then it wouldn't be my fault if it fell apart. Instead of
Mm-hmm.
taking responsibility for, oh, well, I want this outcome. And if I go do everything I can to get it, I might just get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I get the help I need, I might just get there, right? And yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
was the I had to get over a while back. And I still fall into that sometimes. It's not like this, oh, I had this epiphany and then all of a sudden all of my issues go away.
Mm.
So yeah, I have to fight that in myself. And but people won't say that, right? They'll make all the other excuses.
Yeah, people won't say that. People will make excuses, and that's what, as us trying to like trying to help people change their lives, we have to almost have to be like, okay, well, we have to get them to that
Right.
understanding, and they won't agree to it that easily. But I mean, sometimes I think of myself as a salesperson when I'm doing these calls, but a lot of times I'm not a salesperson. I'm actually trying to help them see a bigger vision for themselves, see
Mm-hmm.
why they're stuck. That they can decide if they want to move forward or not, but at least they got to see where they are. And I know I can change lives. I know I can help people make a ton of money. That's not a problem. The question is, are they committed yet to do that? Or
Right.
at least I can show them what's possible for them and they can decide if they
Mm-hmm.
want to move forward or not. So that's like uh, that's like the funniest thing when people are so tied to their ego. They're like,
Yeah.
well, but I can do this, but I can do that, but I can make so much more, but I have the skills. Why do I need someone like you to tell me what to do?
Right.
Why do I need to, why do I need to pay to learn this? I think I can figure this out. I'm smart,
Mm-hmm.
right? Ah,
Yep.
dude, one of the worst mistakes you can make is to think that because you're smart, you will figure it out because you don't have a life long enough to figure out all of this shit.
Well,
Every
and
time
that's
I pay for shortcuts, every time I pay for coaches, it like I get 10x the results. It's like so much faster. So,
yeah, that's the thing that I've learned too over the last few years is, yeah, if I'm willing to actually pay somebody to show me how it's done, like to cut the corners, right?
mm-hmm,
It's like, look, don't try these 6 things. Your inclination is to try these 6 things, but it's the seventh one that actually works, right? But everybody falls into the other 6 traps first. So just go do number 7. I go do number 7. I win, right? So then I'm that much further ahead. I save myself 9 months of spinning
mm-hmm.
my wheels, and then I can get on to the next thing.
Agree 100%. It's like the simplest shortcut
Yeah.
to massive progress. Like the simplest, the most powerful shortcuts
Mm-hmm.
in business is to learn from someone else.
Yep.
There's
Absolutely.
nothing like it. There's like
Yeah.
not even like there's no competition.
Yeah. Well, what's
There's
funny
nothing
is
as good
is
as that.
is that if you're twice as smart as me, you're still going to fall into 3 of those traps instead of 6, right? So
Yeah, I
you
mean,
still need to hire somebody, you
you
know?
could be 10x more smarter. It doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
I know people who are infinitely more smarter than I am, and I think I'm decently smart, but I know people who are way smarter than me,
Oh yeah.
and they will fall in the trap of thinking I can figure it out and I don't
Mm-hmm.
need help, and they'll go through the business cycle 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and they'll get chewed out because their
Yep.
ego is in the way of them moving forward.
Yeah.
Most of the times you get chewed out because your ego tells you I can figure this out all on my own, I know all the answers,
Yep.
why do I need the help from this guy or that guy to, like, I'm already making $5,000 a month, why do I need someone's help to help me make 10K a month? Like, damn, if you could make that 10K in 1 month, wouldn't that be better than
Mm-hmm.
trying to hustle for a whole year trying to get to that mark, right?
Yep.
Well, what if someone could show you a strategy in 2 months, you would be making double the money
Yep.
compared to like spending a whole 2 years, people trying to hustle to double their income. So it's
Right.
not so much about the smarts. The smarts don't really matter because it's not that just because you have some additional computational resources in your brain,
Mm-hmm.
suddenly you will have figured out something that you don't even know
Right.
yet, right? You
Yeah, you
can't
don't have
figure
the
those things
experience
out.
to draw the connection that's going to get you to the right place,
You
and
can't
these
connect
folks
the
do.
dots. You can't
Yeah.
connect the dots. So it's impossible for you to just be like, oh, I'm smart. I will figure it out. Figure out what, man? You don't even know what to figure out
Yeah.
sometimes
Yep.
because someone has seen something much more than you have, and you're thinking, I will figure it out in my little zone here, while someone's living in a completely different sphere
Yep.
who has figured it out at a much like who's figured out something much bigger than what you're trying to figure out today.
Mm-hmm.
So, I
Yep.
mean, one of the
Absolutely.
biggest
So yeah, so
hacks.
that's how that's going.
Yeah. So
Yep. Absolutely.
what happened to your once you figure out, once you get them to commit that I can't figure it out myself, only then and
Mm-hmm.
then do you say, okay, well, so I have a program that can help people go from hell to heaven,
Right.
and it is designed specially for people like you who are struggling with this problem, and it's
Yep.
going to help you get there. Are you interested in that? And they're like, yeah, okay. And you're like, okay, so what questions do you have about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you tell them a little bit about the features and benefits. You tell them like you're gonna like I have a program that's going to help you become a top end developer by using a podcast as a mechanism to get in the ears of people who matter, get in the ears of the decision
Mm-hmm.
makers, and become a celebrity in your space. And it's a complete coaching program, group coaching program, and
Yep.
you just shut up there. You're like, let them ask questions. You don't give the
Hmm.
price. You don't
No,
give
I
the
wasn't
price.
going to.
Well,
Yeah.
right now you've already given it away, but normally
Yeah.
you
Well.
wouldn't. You wouldn't
Yeah.
give the price. You're like, you just sit there, you listen, and you're like, okay, well,
Yep.
so they're going to ask questions. They're like, oh, so how's it going to work? How many calls a week? Or how much, like, what kind of podcast equipment do I need? And you're like, well,
Hmm.
that's something I talk about in the program.
Yep.
Like, well, how many hours a week do I need to do this work? Then you'll be like, well, depending on how much time you have, you can make fast progress in a month
Right.
or 3 months or 6 months, right? How much
Yep.
time do you have to give?
Right. Right. And
So,
yeah, the
you're
coaching's
constantly,
appropriate to your situation.
yeah, so that you're constantly trying to help them see the value in this
Hmm.
thing rather than try to talk themselves out of it, which they will do,
Right.
right? So then they'll be like, okay, so um, you think within a year I can actually make this work for me? I'm like, well, are you willing to do the hard work to do this?
Yeah.
Because I have results. I have literally, my podcast gets millions of downloads. So
Hmm.
I know this shit works and people seek me out. The question is, how much of work are you fully willing to put in to make it
Right.
work? Right?
Yep.
If you're willing to work hard, why not? This will work. Right?
Hmm.
So you're constantly showing them what's possible and showing them that anyone can figure it out if they follow the right methodology and system. And then
Right.
they'll be like, okay, so what's the price? That's where you have them.
Yep.
They have to ask for the price.
Hmm.
Don't be trigger happy. Don't give them the price. Let them ask for price.
Okay. And then when they ask for the price, then
Then you tell them the price and you tell them if you have any special promotions or anything that you're
right.
running at the time. Sometimes you might have promotions going on because you're starting a group or you're starting
Hmm.
something fresh. And sometimes there is no promotion because that's what it
Right.
is. But you might, one promotion I always like to make sure people have is the fast action bonus or fast action
Right.
promotion, which is like, if you sign up today,
Hmm.
then you get this or you get
Right.
this discount or something. The
Right.
reason
This
why
discount,
I
this
have
bonus. Yeah.
bonus or discount, one of
Yeah.
those, right? And the reason why this is important is you get to see people whether they take action
Uh-huh.
and whether they will continue to take action in the future on what you
Right.
tell them to do, right?
Hmm.
For people who are like, I'm not sure, people who don't take action quickly and decisively, they don't usually get decisive results either.
Right.
And that's not just like a sales strategy, that's a real thing. Like in Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill says the biggest reason why people fail is because they cannot make decisions fast enough,
Right.
right?
Yep.
So indecision is one of the biggest causes of failure. And that's the key. So you have to be like, okay, well, if you make the decision, I know you're going to get results. You're going to be a fast mover. So I want to
Yep.
reward you. And you give them a reward for that. And that's really it. And then you let them, sit with that and ask questions. Once you tell them your price and once you give them the incentive for it,
Yep.
you shut up again. So this is the time when you stop
Right.
selling. As soon as they ask the price, you
Yep.
stop selling. Now they have to sell themselves. They can ask questions. They can, do all sorts of things. So they're like, okay, man, hey, yeah, man, that's really expensive. Okay.
Hmm.
Like the guy
I've heard
who's like,
that.
oh,
Yeah.
right, it's really expensive. What did you respond with?
I started talking about what he said he wanted in the last call.
Mm-hmm.
And just basically, yeah, went through, okay, well, we're going to show you how to do this stuff and get these results. And so,
Mm.
is it worth the price?
Mm. What did he
You know,
say?
he said he had to think about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the way to do this sometimes is to say when they say, okay, expensive compared to what?
Yeah. Right.
right? And they're like expensive compared to me figuring out, expensive compared to you figuring out by yourself.
Right. Or expensive compared to the course where you watch the videos and then have to go figure out how to do the rest of it on your own.
No. Don't even go into that because
No,
then
I
you're
wouldn't.
just
I'm just saying somebody may bring that up.
you let them bring it up, and you just don't 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 ever like fall into that trap when they say, oh, expensive compared to this, or like you have to first ask them expensive compared to what.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying.
They
Expensive compared to what? And if they bring that up, then they say,
Yeah,
well,
so they say
yeah.
some, give me some example and let's see if we can work through it.
Right.
So you
So,
say, oh man, that's really expensive.
right. And so, yeah. And then you say expensive compared to what? And I say, well, I found a
No,
podcasting course online for $100 a
I
month
I am
or
here.
for
I'm here.
$100. Right.
Yeah. So you are the salesperson, or I'm the salesperson. You are the person who's like
Right.
not letting me, uh, uh, who's saying. So I'm like
Yeah.
expensive compared to what?
Well, I found a podcasting course for $100.
Mm-hmm. And
And so why shouldn't I just go pay for that and learn how to podcast and then see how much of this just comes naturally out of that?
mm-hmm. Yeah, why not?
That's true. Because, yeah, then you're forcing them to think about, okay, yeah, but I wouldn't get the coaching and I wouldn't get the, because that's where my brain went next was, yeah, but I don't know how good that is. I don't get the expert advice. Yeah.
Well, I am playing with you, so play along with me. I say, so yeah, why not?
Well, I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
guess, yeah, because people want to fill the silence. My tendency, by the way, is to wait you out. So yeah, so I guess I could go do that, and then maybe I'll come back and see how this works out from there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So seems like you already knew this all along, right? You knew you could have
Uh-huh.
done it. And how come you didn't take action on it so far?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I don't know why I haven't. I guess I just get busy and then I don't do it.
So why will things be different this time?
I guess you're right. So if I'm coming to the coaching, then I'll do it because I'll be embarrassed to check in and not, yeah, and not have it done. So I guess there's an accountability element to this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's weekly coaching.
Yep. And if yeah,
So,
and then I start selling myself. And if I get stuck, I can contact you and you'll help me out. And I can kind of listen in on everybody else's coaching. And if they're at a similar stage
yeah,
to me, then you may answer something for them that I didn't even ask about.
yeah. The key here
Right.
is to let them sit in their silence and let them make their own decisions. You're not trying to convince them.
Right.
I'm not trying to convince
Yeah.
you to buy the damn
Right.
thing. I'm just here to help you make a decision. And I'm just here to help. I'm going to ask the critical questions that will help you make that decision, whether you try to move forward or
Yeah.
not. And we'll see if you decide or not. But like
Yeah.
the fun is to let people just come to their own, like to
Mm-hmm.
keep asking those questions and to keep
Well,
asking very stoic, not stoic, what do you call, keep asking questions that make them come to
right.
their own realizations of why they haven't made that change yet.
Mm-hmm. And if they double down on, well, I'll do it myself this time, then they're probably not a great fit anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if the guy is like, I can figure it out by myself, and I will use that system for figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, okay, well, I'm not sure why you scheduled this call today.
Right.
Why did you get on this call with me?
Yeah.
Answer me.
Well, I don't play these games, so I don't know why people do that. If I'm gonna, I, I don't make decisions that way. Like I'm not gonna pull out this course and try and talk you down with it, and then manipulate you by saying, okay, well, I guess I'll just go do the other thing unless I'm serious about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no manipulation. If you're the person who's going to tell me that I have a $99 a month program or whatever it is, I'm like, go for it. But,
Yeah,
how come you decided to
yeah,
schedule this call with me today? Like, what's the reason for it?
yeah. Well, and I don't have
What
an
did you
answer for
co-
that. If
what did
yeah,
you come to me for? Like, why did you come to me instead of just signing up for their course? Why waste
yeah,
your time and my time? Like, I wouldn't say why waste your time and my time, but I'm really curious. Like, why did you
yeah,
seek out to me? Why did you even talk to me? What
yeah,
was going on? So
yeah.
now the person actually has to give a very clear reason as to why they scheduled the call. And
Right,
they'll say, well, it's because you are actually the guy who has done it as a developer.
right.
And I listened to your podcast. I trust what you've done. I like what you've built. And I think you can help me. So now they're selling themselves all over again on your thing and not some $99 program,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's the thing, right? You're constantly showing them, they are showing themselves the way. You're just asking the questions to let them see
Right.
the way.
Yep. Nope. That makes sense.
Yeah. So so that's it. That's really all there is
Yep.
to it. So sales, like people think it's just some sleazy sales marketing or whatever it is. It's not. It's simple. It's straightforward. It's actually way more Q&A than anything else. It's just so much more of people understanding themselves. Like people literally after the sales call, they'll tell me, "Oh man, thank you very much. That was really clarifying for me."
Yep.
And that clarity is huge.
Oh,
If you can help
yeah.
them get that clarity, like one of the members in the program in the 100K accelerator. Now I've changed. I'm calling it a different program now, but it's
Mm-hmm.
monetize your audience. That's what I finally
Right.
like. That's the name of the program. It's
Right.
monetize your audience. Is what I call it now. And anyone can go to monetizemyonlineaudience.com and you'll, or
Mm-hmm.
the other name I have for it's called Audience to Money. So
Right.
Audience to Money. That's what this program is called. My coaching program for people who have audience and want to make money. So when I was having a call, enrollment calls with one of the people in the group there who's there with you, I was like, so why do you want to make that money? He's like, man, I just want to pay off this debt. I want to be done with by the
Mm-hmm.
end of this year. I'm like,
Yep.
huh. After 30 minutes of conversation, he finally came to that nugget. He's like, I just want to be free. I want to pay off this debt. I want to make money. I
Yep.
want to pay off this debt so I can be free every single day for the rest of my life. I'm like, dude, that's what we need to work for. That's what we need to work towards. Every
Yep.
single thing we do, I want you to keep that goal in mind so that you will be very driven and do the work that you need to do.
Yep.
So, like, and then later on, once he signed up, he's like, man, thank you very much for helping me, understand what I was trying to go for. Cause I wouldn't
Right.
have, I was just like ambling along. I wasn't just giving my very best all this time because I wasn't really like thinking about the debt part. But now that I'm clear, I think I'm going to
Right.
go with it with a lot more gusto. So people love to get clarity and be asked. People love to be listened to.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Makes sense.
Yeah. So here's what I've done on my end. I've like my naming of the programs was a little complicated. So I've my basic program, what used to be called Online Business Accelerator, now it's called 25K Lab. It's
Mm.
basically people for helping people go from starter to $25,000, making their
Mm-hmm.
$25,000 in online business, like 2K a month, 3K a month, right? Once they get there, then they are ready for higher support,
Right.
and that's where the I'm still not sure if I call it the 100K accelerator or monetize your audience accelerator or audience to money
Right.
system, all of those. Like, so that's what I'm working towards. So this is the page I've built. I'm gonna share it with you, and I would love to see what you think.
Sounds
If
good.
it's
Do I need
getting,
to enable screen sharing or will? Oh, there it
I
goes.
think
Okay, good. Yep. Yeah, I think
does
you
it?
sent me this page earlier.
It was different. Like I've modified it.
Yeah.
Does it speak clearly? Because I'm constantly working with this headline, right?
Yep.
Headline and sub-headline,
Yeah, I think so.
right? Because everything is focused on monetizing your audience.
Yep.
That's what it is all about.
Makes
So,
sense to me.
yeah, is it clear?
Mm-hmm.
For anyone who's listening and they don't know what we're talking about, you can just go to audience2money.com or monetizemyonlineaudience.com or 2000books.com/coaching, and you'll see this page, which is all about helping people, helping influencers with audience monetize their audience,
Right.
which is what my group coaching program is all about. And
Yep.
Chuck is one of our star students there.
I don't know about star students.
But you already getting, you're already getting signing
Yep.
up people. But
Yep.
okay, so what's your next move, man? We need to figure this shit out. What's your next move?
So I got the application up. I haven't had anyone fill it out yet. I've got a handful of calls next week and the week after.
Who are these people? The calls are coming from just from their email or other also?
It's the podcast sponsorships.
Okay, so these are market research calls. These are the 15-minute calls.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So now on the 15-minute call, you see someone is qualified and you don't even talk about the pricing anymore.
Yeah.
On those 15-minute calls, because people are willing to pay 1,000, like in that range. It's okay. You can deal with it. You don't have to worry too much about pricing. You take the pricing thing out.
Right.
You talk about, okay, what's going on with you? Where are you with it? These are the last few market research calls you'll do. After that, no more. You're going to send them straight to your application, to the sales call.
Right.
The market research calls are only for your learning. Once you know
Yeah.
exactly what people want, where people are, who your audience is, and what you're giving them, you don't need any more market research calls. You don't need these 15-minute calls anymore. So
Right.
if you feel like you have enough 15-minute calls, you can literally turn off that filter, or you can redirect all of that traffic to directly your application page.
Yep.
Or you can put up exactly what I have put up.
That's what I was looking at doing, was putting up a page like yours where they could enter their email address, and then when I did it, it took me to your application, which makes a ton of sense to me. And then I also got an email saying, did you fill it out, kind of thing. And I like that approach. And then I can kind of push things ahead from there.
Yeah. So if you feel like you've gotten good data on your market, what exactly is the end result they're asking for, then no more market research calls, just strategy calls. If you know exactly, you're asking for, are you a 6-figure developer? You want to step up, you want to double your salary, or you want to double your freelancing rates, or you want to become one of the top 5% developers in the world, then I can help you do that. Apply for my program. You change that from saying 15-minute calls to saying apply for my program. Because once you are clear on the outcome, you can very clearly say apply for my program. Right?
Yep.
So people just go directly to their application page. Like, just let me kind of point out some of the important elements of this page that you need to be aware of, right? You're gonna be very clear on the end result. You're not talking the mechanism, right? The end result is all there is to it. So if for people who are listening, people who are watching, whatever, go to 2000books.com/coaching or go to audience2money.com. You'll see the page, and the page says attention influencers with audience, which is YouTubers, podcasters, bloggers, Instagrammers, people like that, right? Make your first or multiple 6 figures by monetizing your audience. That's the headline. Make your first or multiple 6 figures by monetizing your audience. And then you can literally just enter your name and email address. That's my entry point into that's your entry point into my coaching program. Like
Right.
you have to put your name and email address to sign to literally get to the application form.
Right.
And it's really important that the headline is super clear on the end result, on the benefit.
Right.
So what would your end result or what would your benefit be?
The one that I've been getting over and over again is that effectively people want employers, clients, or conferences to be calling them for their expertise. Does that make
And what
sense?
would happen? What would they get out of that?
They'd be seen as an expert is generally what they want, or to get their dream job or dream clients.
They want to be recognized
Yes.
as expert, and they want to make more money as a result, or they
Yes.
want to get higher status,
Yes, it's true. That's what they want.
right? Even though
Yep.
you hate the word high status developer, basically that's what they want.
Yep.
Um, so you need to now write up a bunch of headlines,
Right.
50, 100 headlines that speak to that specific thing.
Yep.
Become how to become a well respected, how to
Yeah.
hack your way into becoming a highly respected developer without spending 20 years
Right.
working through your industry.
Yep.
Become a highly respected developer in a year, not 20 years, using this powerful system,
Yep.
using my powerful system, using my powerful
Yep.
developer authority or developer authority system,
I like that.
DAS,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or a high like developer, yeah, respect authority, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Attention, six-figure developers.
Yep.
How to become a highly respected developer. How to become
Yeah.
a highly respected developer in your industry in less than a
Right.
year.
How to become an
How,
authority in your programming
yeah,
space.
how to become an authority in your programming space in less than a year.
Yep.
Learn how to
That would get them. That would get their
yes,
attention.
yeah. So you really need that grabby headline,
Yep.
and you use that. You just keep talking to that. You just keep it. You
Yep.
start using that across the board, and you get people signing up for this application and coming to, you know, join this call. In my case,
Yep.
I'm saying, hey, attention influencers with audience.
Yep.
Make your first or multiple six figures by monetizing your audience. Because the biggest pain that I know a lot of influencers have out there today is they just don't know how to monetize. They are influencers with, or they are YouTubers with 50,000 subscribers, as I was telling you about, who's making
Mm-hmm.
$700 a month. They're YouTubers, literally. One of the guys in my space, in the book summary space,
Mm-hmm.
he has four times, maybe now it's five times audience my size,
Mm-hmm.
and he probably makes 10% of the money I make.
Oh wow.
His YouTube channel is over 200,000 viewers, and he makes 10% of the
Right.
money. He came to me for coaching. He's in
Uh-huh.
my space. His audience is like five times bigger than mine, and he makes like 10% of the money I make because the guy doesn't
Yep.
know how to make money. He just is like, oh,
Right.
YouTube ads. That's all I do. I'm like, dude, sitting on a gold mine, right? So
Yep.
monetize your audience. That's what I'm helping people do. Monetize your online audience. Monetize my online audience. That's all there is to it. You're you're you are
Yep.
you are a podcaster
No,
with an
that makes total
audience,
sense.
right? Everyone in this group is like that. So you have to really think hard about what is the ultimate benefit I'm giving these people.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yep.
you have to keep simplifying it, keep simplifying it, keep simplifying it, keep simplifying it to the point where it's like a one line message that just hits them home, that just like
Yep.
grabs them by the throat. Because earlier you were throwing a lot of hooks,
Yep.
you were throwing a lot of different angles and ideas, but the more
Yep.
you get clarity, the more you're like able to squeeze all of that into very throat grabbing headline where they just can't be like, they have to enter their name and email address
Yep.
because they're like, shit, I don't want to spend 20 years doing the shit. I want to hack this in a year.
Yep.
Hack
Absolutely.
your authority, or hacker, authority hacker, or, you know,
Yep.
whatever you call it, developer hacker, authority hacker.
Yep.
the authority hacker framework
Yep.
for
Yeah.
developers. Basically, they want to be authority. That's what they're saying.
Yeah,
But
it's true.
authority
It's
is
true.
authority is harder for to sell to them. You need to sell a very clear mechanism, or not
Yeah.
make a
No.
mechanism or clear outcome. They want to
Yeah.
become well known, respected, whatever it is that you need to find those right
Right.
combination of words that will speak to them.
Yeah, it's true. But the way that they measure that or manifest that is that I get invited to speak at conferences, that I'm making more money,
Yeah.
that I'm recognized in my organization that I work in as an expert, that that I have people coming to me and asking me questions, that the stuff like that, right? I'm the guy that they
Mm-hmm.
want to come onto the clubhouse chats. I'm the guy that,
Become the go-to guy in your
yeah,
space.
yep,
Become the respected authority. Whatever it is that word the developers use for that person, either become that or get that. That's what you need to do.
yeah. I mean, people said influencer, but even then, um, it's about that um, regard that people have for you. It's not about the influence.
Yeah, becoming an influencer is not enough of an outcome that people will pay
No,
thousand
it's
dollars
not.
a month for.
Yeah,
It's a much more clearer or clearer end result that people want.
yeah. Somebody said dev royalty, but
Hmm.
I felt that was a
I
little
like
bit
that.
too.
Too salesy, but it is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah, yeah. That and
Like
that
become a
that's what
royalty.
kind of pushed me down to dev heroes, was that it was a
Become a
little bit
royalty.
less. Yeah,
Become a royalty in your field. Not bad.
yeah. I'm gonna crown myself. Just
You would not need that because your podcast would do that for you.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
dev
But
kings, dev heroes, dev royalty, whatever it is, like you need to find that word that people in your audience are really
yeah,
interested in.
yeah. Become the prince of Python.
The Prince
The
of Python.
anyway,
Prince of Persia or Prince of Python?
yeah, something. I don't know.
Oh, you don't know
Yeah,
that game, Prince of Persia.
Prince of Persia. No, I've played it,
Oh, yeah.
or at
Oh.
least one of the iterations of it. There have been about a zillion of them. So one other thing, just in the way of news, one of the companies I referred to Developer Media after I've emailed them
Hmm.
and called them, and emailed and called the companies that had things not go their way. They got an email from them basically saying you have to talk to Chuck to get the sponsorship set up. So I think they're pretty much done. I I don't see any other thing that I can do. I have done everything I can to contact the two companies that had concerns over the sponsorships. I have done everything I can to contact them. And
So even the
yeah.
two companies that who had the sponsorships through, they are not responding to you,
The
or you
one
haven't reached out to them yet.
I have reached out to them. Um, I need to just see if I can get the one guy on the phone. I think I can. The other one, I'm not sure. They're completely radio silent, but I also don't have a prior relationship with them at all.
Hmm.
I do with the other company. So I'm going to see if I can get that guy on the phone and just be like, look, I did screw up. Yeah, let's make this work. So
Damn, man. Well,
yeah,
you have the list of people. You can at least look at all of their lists and be on their list and make sure that whoever they are advertising through, you can also get access to them if it's been three
yeah.
weeks now of you hustling to try to get hold of them.
I've been trying to call them. I've called them a couple of times, left voicemails. I don't want to be like every dang day, but I did call a couple of times, left a voicemail at least twice. Um, I've emailed them. The only communication I've gotten was from this sponsor that came back and said, "Oh, I guess I'm working this out through you. Let's do this." So,
Okay. All right.
so
Well,
I'm
you have one sponsor.
yeah. So I'll go sort that bit out.
Dude, sucks, but I think this mastermind is gonna also augment that income quite a bit to
Yeah,
get you to what you want at least a steady, like pretty nice steady
Yeah.
10K months easy, 20K depending on what you're looking for. If you really
Yeah.
wanted to grow that, it's not that hard.
Grow the
Because
mastermind.
I think you're getting, yeah, if you really
Yeah.
wanted to build it out into a massive, like the big business in your
Yeah.
field, you can do that. I don't think anyone else is offering that in your field right now.
Not that I've seen, and not
Yeah.
the kind of thing that I'm offering. Like I'm sure there are people out there that are offering
There
like
are lots
Python
of
coaching or
generic
JavaScript.
podcasting
Yeah.
courses.
Yeah.
There are
Well,
tons of generic podcast courses, and there's tons of generic like courses on
influencer.
languaging and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or,
And languages, technologies, but
right, become
yeah.
a specialist at Python or Java
Yeah.
or all that. And
Yep.
people don't want to do that hard work. People don't
Nope.
want to learn a language and slave on it for 10 years to be the king.
Yep.
They want to do, dude, you're doing exactly what John did 5 years ago, 7 years
Yep.
ago, 10 years ago, how to market yourself as a software
Yep.
developer.
Well, and people
He
want
did
it. They
blog.
want it so hard. It's funny. Like I thought, oh, there aren't that many people that want to be influencers or whatever. And some of these people are just starving for the attention and the notoriety. You know, they wouldn't put it that way, but they really do want to be recognized as people in the field that have what these folks have. And what's funny too is that I've had people join the podcasts that weren't all that interested in it, and they figured out that they liked it. Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they like people knowing who they are. And they like hearing from people that they made a difference. They like hearing from people that, whatever they have to say matters.
Absolutely.
Well, I like it too, so I don't blame them. But yeah.
Yeah, and that's the whole point.
Yep. So
yeah, you gotta keep doing it, man. You gotta
I'm gonna
keep pushing
chasing
this. This is just the start. You have to now like do strategy calls
Yeah.
and throw up this application page. It'll take a minute.
Yeah.
It'll help you get a lot more people in.
Yeah. I have Thrive themes on my website, so I can put it up in 10 minutes.
In a minute. Yeah. Just say make sure you say attention 6-figure developers, because you'll get qualified people there.
Yeah.
Otherwise you'll get all sorts of people.
Yep.
Developers making 100K or 6-figure developers, whatever they call themselves. I don't even know what you call.
I don't know if there's a term for it. So yeah, 100K plus.
Yeah.
6-figure developers.
6-figure developers, 100K plus. And that concept. Yeah. And you need to, like, whatever the intro was, right now it's going to the strategy session. You're going to cut it out as soon as you have this new page. You're going to send them to this 60-minute call session. And, so what if people came to the page thinking it was a 15-minute call, and you say, well, there's no more 15-minute calls. It's just a start. It doesn't matter. If they're interested, they'll sign up. If not, they won't. But at the same time, you would use the same outlines to actually just change it to, if you're interested, apply for this program that started, right?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Cool, man.
All right. Well, anything going on with you that we need to talk through?
Well, it's just that I was showing you that page because that page is like so important. Like that nuance of the page is so important. So if you have any feedback on it, I would love to hear. Like,
I'll go have a deeper look, but I think the headline is pretty spot on for what people are looking for. So
yeah, that's the key. Because I'll start pushing that. Like, I will start to build that out. Like, I will start to again talk about it in my emails and my podcasts and all those things again, because I think it's a better, simpler offer than what it was earlier.
Yep. All right. Well, I will definitely give you feedback on that.
Yeah, if you feel like there's anything that strikes you or does not strike you or
Hmm.
whatever, it's all in the headline. The headline is everything in that game,
Yeah,
in that sales
it's
page.
true. The rest of it just justifies the claim in the headline.
Yeah, the headline is all there is to it at that point. Like
Yep.
if it's a simple lender like that, there isn't more,
Yep.
right? It's just like, hey, do you want to monetize your audience and make like I don't like I'm not offering anything else in the headline
Right.
or or I'm not offering anything else on the page. Of course, there are some testimonials
Hmm.
if you scroll down, but that's really not. I would much rather that people get in, apply, and then I'll see if they're a good fit.
Yep.
I feel like you have a better audience match
Hmm.
than I do because mine is a book lover audience, and some have audiences, not all of them do. So I have a very
Right.
small niche of my audience that is interested in what I have to offer here, which is okay. In your
Yep.
case, almost every developer out there wants what you're selling.
Yeah, they want some form of recognition.
Respect, recognition, authority,
Yeah.
whatever you can. So if you can sell it, you can like package it in a bottle,
Uh-huh.
in a perfect perfume bottle that sells like Chanel.
Hmm.
That's your job, right?
Yep.
Because the outcome is real. People want that damn outcome. You just have to package it to the point where people are like, yes, please give it to me,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
I want it. So the packaging is really important, and the packaging is the marketing, the headline, the
Yep.
call to action. Like when you are speaking those things,
Yep.
what is it that you're selling to them?
Yep.
Yeah, I would convert anything going forward. Everything should be strategy call. You don't need market
Yep.
research calls now.
Yep.
You have validation. You know what people
Yeah.
want.
I know what people want.
Yeah, I mean
All
you're
right.
still qualifying you're still getting the nuances of that statement, the marketing, the
Yeah.
copy, but broadly speaking, you know what people want, and that's
Yeah.
all you needed for the market research calls.
Yep. Yep.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we do some thoughts?
Yeah. So
Well,
my
my thought.
thoughts,
Go ahead.
your
You're gonna
thoughts.
you're gonna steal my thought. Go ahead. Steal it.
No, I can't steal it. My thought is more about environment. Like sometimes the most important thing you can do is to have a good working environment so that you can
Hmm.
be at your most productive self. So don't underestimate the importance of the right environments in your work, on your day-to-day work. Because if you think about it, if you're making $250,000 a year,
Hmm.
you're effectively making $125 an hour,
Yep.
right? So if you could get a boost in your productivity for 10 hours, and you probably will get more than that over a period of a month, that's $1,250 boosted in productivity just
Yep.
by having the right environment. And I know you can get that. So environment is a big deal. Clean it up, make it simple, make it organized, make it as isolated as you can so you can do your deep work rather than certain environment
Yep.
that's going to not let you do your best work. So when you can afford, step up, go pay for better environment. It will change your output and give you much better results.
Yep. Yeah. My thought. I thought you were going to go with the coaching as a shortcut, and that's really been over the last couple of months. That's been the
Yeah,
payoff, right? Is that, yeah, it's like, okay, well, I go, I make a mistake, I get corrected, and then I go and I do it again and do it better. And this seems to be working out. And so, yeah, just keep iterating on that. And yeah, find somebody who can shortcut those processes for you and say, no, not that, this.
dude. If okay, so if I wasn't helping you through this process, how much more time would it have taken you, or how long Or would you even have like tried to figure this out by yourself?
I don't know that I even would have gotten there, honestly, because the other part of it is kind of the accountability of I've got to come back and tell Manny that I didn't do it, which I'm not going to do.
Right.
Right. And so that's the other end of it is, yeah, I'm not going to come back and go, so dude, right? I didn't actually implement this week, right? And the other thing is that yeah, I mean, I probably would have screwed things up another handful of ways and then given up, right?
Yeah.
Why can't I sell this? Why is this not working, right? And instead, I've been able to get back on calls with several of these folks and been able to pull some of this stuff together, even though I screwed it up somewhere along the way.
Yeah. The thing that people don't understand, what you just said, right? At any given time, you could do 100 different things
Yep.
in the same, like as you're building your coaching thing right now, right? You could be building a landing page, you could be writing a sales email, you could be writing 5 different sales emails, you could be building a webinar, you could be writing ads,
Yeah.
you could be doing calls, which are market research calls, you could be writing copy for your headlines, you could be doing 100 things, literally 100 things is actually maybe more, right? You could be doing so many things. But at any given time, there's only one thing that is the highest leverage thing. Everything else is a waste of time. And the coach knows what is that one thing to do.
Right.
You can be wicked smart, but if you try to do those 100 things, each of those things taking you 5 or 10 hours, you could spend 1,000 hours while the coach would be like, dude, just do this one thing for 2 hours and get the same result as what 100 hours of spent on 10 hours. You did 100 different things, spent 10 hours on each of those things, and the coach like, I've done this before, you just need to do these things for 2 hours.
Right.
How much of that leap it is for someone who's following that advice, right? I could just do for 2 hours, or I could spend 1,000 hours or 100 hours doing this madness. No matter how smart you are, you will lose that path. You will go crazy trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Compared to someone who's already climbed the Everest. Why fucking try to do it yourself?
Well, the other thing is you said the kind of the most optimum thing to do, and maybe the coach doesn't know that, but if you try 8 other things and then stumble onto that or stumble onto something that's just as effective, as opposed to just having them tell you to do something that's that effective, that's the win, right? It's okay, yeah, I didn't spend 60 hours figuring out that I needed to do 3 hours of work in order to get the result I wanted. They had something that maybe it was 4 hours and I got the result I wanted, or 4 hours and I got slightly less than the result I wanted. But that's still, for the time I put in versus the outcome I get, it's still a way better deal than trying to figure it out on my own. Yeah.
Always, always, always.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
All right, good deal.
See you later.
Well, I'm gonna hit the big red button and we'll